So this is the third and final part of my alternator video. I took the alternator out, as you see there. This is what I was doing in the first video. I took the original bolt that came out of the bottom holding bracket. I put it right back in there like that. And as you see there, the holding nut is actually, I knocked it out a little bit. Like this space wasn't there before. It was more pushed in towards the I guess the holding bracket, so it locks the alternator into the car like that by this end being pushed in a little bit. So what you want to do when you take it out so you have a clear view is what I was doing. I was just basically doing this, tapping on the bolt to knock it back out like that. But because I couldn't reach the bolt directly from above the engine where I was standing, I had this there like that. Probably can't do this with one hand, but just to give you an idea of what I was doing. Use my shoe there. Basically I was doing this and knocking it right back in, and what that does is a few taps just like that, not a lot of force. You don't want to bang it back or anything like that really hard. And then you take this out, and what that does, it pushes the locking nut back and it leaves a little clearance right here. And when you take it out, you're gonna sort of lift this way and it comes right out like that after you loosen this up. You have to loosen this up or it's gonna be really hard to get it out. But because I had this loosened up by banging it back a little bit, I was able to just, I used a pickaxe, I'm not gonna lie, for a little leverage. I ordered a pry bar, it didn't come in yet, but the pickaxe worked really well. Checked out the video for how I did the pickaxe technique, and I just wedged it up from this way out like that, and this sort of comes off the mount first, and then you have this here, and then you're gonna rock it back and forth like that, and it comes right out, and that's it. That's how you remove an alternator on a BMW E46. And the car was 10. This has been in the car since 2001. So it looks still in good condition, but sometimes you get one of these where it's like really old and really seized onto the holding mount, but that's the best way of doing it. Again, you could use a pry bar. The pickaxe is actually really good. I think it's actually better than a pry bar. It looks scary, but I'll show you guys pickaxe real quick. It looks scary when you put it inside the engine bay, but because the shape of the pickaxe allows you to sort of leverage the alternator against the oil housing filter head right there. And you see there, I did it. I didn't damage a single thing. Even the bolts were still in from the power steering, and everything's there. It didn't even scratch it, but I used it to yank out the alternator, and you could see the holding mount right there for the alternator came out of there. What I'm gonna do is just replace the gasket for this guy because it's leaking on the ground. You see there, it's still leaking, and gonna replace the water pump as well. Right after and then after when I'm done with that, I'm gonna put the new alternator in, which is really cool. But again, I kind of recommend a pickaxe like this. It's a small pickaxe. It's a 2.5 pound pickaxe. I got it from Home Depot. My mom got it from Home Depot about a year or two ago, and I highly recommend this. But be careful with it. You could damage your car if you use a pickaxe, but it worked for me. It literally took me about 10 minutes total to remove the alternator just now. So 10 minutes to remove an alternator using the pickaxe and the hammer technique, I guess you could call that, where you hammer back the bottom bolt to loosen up that holding nut, because the alternator does have a holding nut that people don't know about. People just remove the bolts and then they just start prying and yanking it out. But once you get that nut, the holding nut pushed back a little bit off the mount, then the alternator should just come right out. But of course, this car is over 10 years old, so it's gonna be seized on there a little bit. But use a little pry bar or this pickaxe technique that I used, it'll come right out. 10 minutes I took the alternator out. Usually it takes people say it takes like an hour plus, but 10 minutes with this technique. And that's all I'm gonna say for that.